seniors were honored here at SMU. Emotions will run high.
And this is Nick Moore. Later on, we will take a look at the Elmore Index, and I'll just bet you Nick Moore's still at the top. He's been there all year. Brown with a runner. Sterling Brown, who averages almost 10 points a game, gets the first bucket.
Yeah, this crowd is certainly into it. As I mentioned, emotions running high in this bittersweet farewell to the SMU seniors. UConn is going to have to weather that emotional outburst, try to stay close, and then maybe settle in and play their game, as SMU will still be riding high.
Daniel Hamilton, who's really developing as an all-around player. The shot clock is down to 3. Bad pass. This is going to be a shot clock violation.
Not the way you want to start if you're UConn.
Larry Brown all pumped up. You can tell the special relationship he has with his point guard when Nick Moore was introduced. They clashed a lot when he was a junior. Larry Brown was trying to teach him what he wanted as a point guard, but their relationship has been much, much better in his senior year.
And you know, people say it often that the point guard is an extension of a coach. It is more real for this team and teams that Larry Brown has coached than at any other time, because Larry Brown obviously was a point guard, and he truly does run his team through his point.
Kennedy.
I know, because played on a couple of Larry Brown teams.
Moore with 1 on the shot clock. Kennedy with a miss. That's going to be a violation. So Connecticut answers with its own solid 30 seconds of defense.
Yeah, UConn, people keep forgetting they're one of the finest defensive teams in the nation, 4th in the nation in field goal percentage defense, and obviously 1st in the American Athletic Conference. They'll stop you.
And Kevin Ollie well aware that they'll need all the defense they can get tonight. That's blocked. It's a jump ball situation. It goes to the Huskies. The drive came from Sean Miller, and he was stopped right at the goal.
One of the things that SMU is going to try to do is try to keep UConn off the free throw line. UConn, an outstanding free throw shooting team.
And that is a travel. The drive by Jalen Adams, the freshman who's been playing so well in the last third of the season.
Yeah, the point I was going to make is if you keep UConn off the free throw line, it makes it a lot easier, because they have scored a lot of points and won a lot of games down this stretch of the season on the free throw line.
They are 3rd in the country. Tolbert with a drive, blocked by Bryma. Gibbs. Offensive foul. Nick Moore draws the charge. Emotions running high here.
I'll tell you what, though, he does a nice job. Might have been leaning a little bit.
Lean to the right.
Foot was dug in. And I'm not so sure the lean is as important as whether his feet were dug in and he established legal guarding position.
UConn has had the ball 3 times. They've turned it over 3 times. Kennedy. Oh, are you kidding?
The only problem I have is when you get up that high and you can slap that ball that far out of bounds, that means you could control it. Why not keep it in bounds? We take a look at Bryma. It's his own man. And that's a more difficult play for a guy like Amita Bryma, who usually blocks shots coming over to help. That one was on his own man. Good footwork by Bryma to be able to stay with Kennedy.
That was worth knocking the ball out of bounds just to see him do it. Shake Milton. Got it. 4-0 SMU.
Again, very important how UConn responds during the first 5-8 minutes of emotion. They can't play confused. They can't play frightened.
Lob to Bryma. Missed the tip. Got it back. Had it blocked by Kennedy. And off Bryma out of bounds. Kennedy with turnabout fair play.
And no question about that block either. Kennedy didn't get up as high as you see the alley-oop. I don't think Bryman was ready for it, and watch the block right here. And you mentioned it. Anything you can do, at least for this play, I'm going to do, as far as Marcus Kennedy concerned.
Moore will try a three. Usually he does not shoot well in the first half. At least it seems that way. But in the second half, he makes almost all of it. Purvis, almost stolen. And Purvis, who's got that great stroke from the outside, hits UConn's first bucket at the 16:44 mark.
And that ought to settle his team down on the offensive end. Defensively, UConn's trying to keep the ball away from Nick Moore, as they had success doing it the last time these two teams played.
That ball's bounced out of bounds and a bad pass by Adams, but touched by SMU.
And actually, that call, they had UConn going the other way. The players on the floor thought it was off them, and they were surprised when the officials awarded them the ball. It's got Sam Cassell Jr. in the ball game right now. Hasn't played an awful lot, only 15 games played and 3 out of the last 10, but he's a solid ball handler.
He suffered from shin splints and leg problems almost all year long. Nice drive by Sean Miller, and goes with his scoop right hand.
And again, Sean Miller's the kind of guy that can put pressure on SMU. He's got the ability to put it on the floor outside.
UConn by a point, and Sean Miller.
And in close game situations, they're able to win because of those free throw makes, because of that accuracy.
They are third in the country behind only Villanova and St. Bonaventure. Kennedy able to dump it down low to Tolbert. He's triple teamed. Kennedy offensive rebound, double pump. Got it back again. Now they'll go outside and see if they can get away from Bryman. Milton out of the corner, rims out. Tolbert an offensive rebound. Moore for three. And Purvis clears. This is a team that out-rebounds its opponents by 10.5 a game.
And outstanding offensive rebounders, Jordan Tolbert, Ben Moore, who's on the bench right now. They're in the top 10. Tolbert leads the conference in offensive rebounding, but 3 attempts, and they come away with nothing. UConn dodged the bullet.
Hamilton, air ball. Moore on the run to Sterling Brown. Back to Tolbert with a drive. Drops it for Kennedy. Brown baseline. Bucket, and he's fouled.
SMU very pleased that Sterling Brown, who leads the conference in field goal percentage, he decided to challenge the defense because a couple of offensive rebounds, and the big fellas didn't want to go back up with it because of Bryman's presence. They kick it back outside. Brown has a lane to the basket. But that's going to be very important as we progress in this game. Offensive rebounding by SMU, and will the big guys continue to go back up with it, or are they going to kick it back outside because of Bryman's presence?
Bryman got the foul. Sterling Brown goes to the line where he's an 87% free throw shooter. Only missed 12 all year long. Never fails, does it?
Invariably.
Declared a jump ball. SMU takes it because of the possession arrow.
And the best part about it is a lot of guys almost reflexively will call timeout. But the recognition by the SMU player, I think it was Sterling Brown, that the possession arrow's their way. Just hold on to it. Get a held ball call, and it's your ball. You don't waste the timeout.
Moore bringing it up, guarded by Sterling Gibbs, the graduate transfer student. Kennedy, nice pass. Perfect pass to Tolbert.
And Mike, that was a perfect antidote to Bryman's shot blocking. This man plays high-low down with Jordan Tolbert. He's got to honor Kennedy outside. Takes him away from the hoop.
Purvis always looking for that shot. Hamilton will fire. Got it. Hamilton, 32% from long range, ties it at 8. Nick Moore, all the way around. Not going to block that one either.
You're not even going to try.
No. Don't stand on the tracks when the train's coming.
I would say Bryma had his hand broken once this year. I don't think he wanted it another.
500 assists for Nick Moore. He is number 2 all-time in Mustang basketball history. And a great make it 501. Nice dish to Tolbert. And they are starting to shred the interior defense of the Huskies.
Well, it all begins and ends with Nick Moore and his ability to penetrate and find people. And also the bigs on the move makes it harder for Bryma to get set.
Gibbs wide open out of the corner. Sterling Gibbs, 38.7% from long range this year.
And I'll tell you what, we talked about at the beginning of the game, UConn had to withstand the emotional outburst by SMU. And looking at the score, they have done just that.
Kennedy, another great lob. Consecutive touch passes when Kennedy got his hands on it. Third assist for Kennedy in the opening 7.5 minutes. Bryma tried the same thing, lost it on the way up. Kennedy. Well, that would have been spectacular, wouldn't it? Purvis hustles it back. Gibbs again for 3. Not this time, but Hamilton retrieves.
We've seen some spectacular plays.
Yes, sir.
But nevertheless, consistency. UConn just 3 points down. They're in this ball game.
Look at the hustle. Both of these teams want this badly. UConn will get it back.
The respect that they deserve. Right now, I don't think they get enough.
Jalen Adams kicks it out to Gibbs, and now Purvis. He'll try another 3. Likes that spot on the court. Shake Milton skies a rebound and comes down running.
Well, right now, UConn's going to be far more perimeter oriented because they don't really have any inside threats. Enoch and Nolan aren't really offensive threats with their back to the basket.
Ben Moore into the ball game. Kennedy got to start on senior night. Ben Moore has replaced him. Tolbert stays out there along with Nick Moore. 5 to shoot. Nick Moore, nice feed to Tolbert, and Nolan will commit the foul. Carla Redden in the blue shirt, Nick Moore's mother. She came out during senior night. She and Mike Moore both got down in a crouch with Nick when they came out, all 3 of them together.
Yeah, they got the crouching tiger position out there. That's Nick's favorite.
Tolbert at the line, 66% on the season. This is a 70% shooting team. I got to stop giving statistics. They may never make another one.
0 for 5 from the free throw line. I'm sorry, 0 for 4 from the free throw line.
Adams. Boy, good hustle on defense by SMU. Switch. 10 to shoot for Gibbs. Good double team outside. Gibbs gets rid of it. Nolan, baseline drive. Tries to pass and throws it away. Would have been a shot clock violation anyway, and then it looked like SMU threw it away.
Yeah, SMU in a little bit too much of a rush. As I mentioned earlier, UConn is kind of hampered a little bit as Daniel Hamilton comes in and trying to change the equation. They don't have any real offensive threats on their front line. Hamilton comes in to play the 3 right now, so now it gives them a little bit more flexibility. And you saw it right there with the shot clock running down, giving it to Nolan. He couldn't even get the shot off.
Well, Nolan isn't really the guy you want to have it with 5 on the shot clock.
That's what I'm saying. Neither he or Enoch are real threats.
Gibbs loses it. 6 turnovers against UConn in the first 9.5 minutes. Yet they're only behind by 3. Nick Moore, nice drive. Has it knocked away as he went up to the shot. Gibbs quickly back the other way. Hamilton, no. Ben Moore. Tough shot with the left hand. Purvis back the other way to Gibbs. Racehorse basketball, and that's a block. Saturday, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN, the rematch of college basketball's greatest rivalry. Number 8 North Carolina, number 17 Duke at Cameron Indoor. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV. Also streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app after that spectacular comeback by Duke in the first matchup.
You can see UConn, when they have the chance, they're looking to push the ball down the floor, run at every opportunity, try to beat that SMU defense down the floor.
Gibbs, an 85% free throw shooter, rolls it home. Sterling Brown checks back in. Moore will get a breather.
See, SMU fans are wondering how come you didn't say that before he shot the free throw.
I was afraid to say a single word. Just wanted to see if it worked, too. And it did. It's amazing. Milton. He'll be the point guard with Nick Moore on the bench. Jure Foster, number 10, is in for SMU. Good head fake for Brown. He drives, lost it on the way in, though. And off the hands of Foster, out of bounds.
And right now, SMU having trouble against a settled-in UConn defense. You know, we talked about the challenge presented on the offensive end with the lack of a proven inside scorer, but defensively, UConn's bigs are holding their own, the front line, Enoch particularly.
UConn has already brought 11 players into this ball game. SMU was hampered by only having 7 scholarship players. That's 7 turnovers for the Huskies. And then you get the feeling if they continue at that pace, they're just going to get drilled.
Well, if SMU can convert.
Shake Milton, point blank look, and a great pass from Ben Moore. Not going to have a cleaner opportunity on a pass like that.
Yeah, so far 7 UConn turnovers, but SMU has only converted 4 points.
Hamilton, 7 on the shot clock. Calhoun, Adams, 3 on the shot clock. Had it rejected, a lot of contact, no whistle. Ben Moore ahead of the pack. Really surprised there wasn't a whistle there, Len.
We'll let them play.
Hamilton.
Good comeback by UConn after the rebound and the fast break. You know, if players can essentially feel comfortable in the way the officials are calling it, and they're calling it both ways, which they apparently are, let them play.
I like it that way, don't you?
Absolutely. Always have.
Tied at 16, 8:01 to go in the half.
You know, we talk about the contact that we've seen, etc. None of the players, nor the coaches, have really protested.
Milton, a lot of fakes tonight. Ben Moore, 17 feet in and out. Tip is good. Marcus Kennedy, great position inside.
You're right, and he never gave it up. And as Brahma came to the penetration, he established himself right where he needed to on the weak side of the glass.
Calhoun, and here's the screen by Milton.
Not effective, and it hurts him on the other end of the floor as well.
Remember that first game, he had 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 blocked shots. Tonight, 1 rebound, 2 blocks, no points. Nick Moore back in.
Oh, Sean Miller getting into the
Yes, he did.
block act there.
Shot clock continuing to run. Kennedy, 9 to shoot.
See, Kennedy's got to play a little give and go or kick it back outside like he did.
Brown, that ball was in from the minute it left his fingertips.
Yeah,
SMU, its first 3 tonight, Len.
Yeah, once Kennedy was one-on-one with Bryma, it was time to give it up and move, give and go, but he hit a nice hot shooter right there.
Miller, set shot. Bryma tried to keep it alive, but Nick Morris saved it. Yeah, if you end up one-on-one with Bryma, it's not a good thing for you, is it?
Nope.
Nick Moore with a floater over the big man. What a shot.
See, that's what the little big men of college basketball have learned to do. The dominant guys under 6 feet, they learn how to throw up all kinds of floaters.
7-0 run for the Mustangs. Adams with a miss, 1 and done. No offensive rebounding for UConn.
And you take a look at Jalen Adams right now, going back to his job of denying Nick Moore. It seems every time Moore gets his hands on him, he makes something happen. Got to dig in even more.
That's a foul. Fouls on Purvis, and will send the freshman from Houston to the free throw line.
Yeah, Nick Moore beats Adams off the bounce. He gets it up there so quickly, Bryma never had a chance to leave his feet. I guess when you're 5'10", those are the things you have to master.
Free throw drops. That's, I didn't say a word.
I was going to say. Go ahead, say it.
Foster is only a 48% free throw shooter.
Right, so whatever you say, it doesn't matter.
No.
He's right on his average.
Adams asks for a timeout and gets it. With players have to be aware this is a catch and shoot situation.
Somebody, though, has to protect the basket. That's what happens. You're so busy face guarding guys.
Not executed at all. And the 8th turnover.
The point is moot now.
Yes, it is.
He just gave it away.
Thank you, Counselor. Moore with a drive. This time the finger roll won't go. UConn has hit only one of its last 10 shots from the floor. That's an offensive foul on Gibbs. Number 2 on Sterling Gibbs. He was just out of control the entire drive.
Yeah, he's got to move the ball. It's far too much dribble. You're Sterling Gibbs. You're a 5th-year senior graduate student. You've got enough experience to recognize when you're patting that rock for that long, something's wrong. You got to give it up. And the SMU defense was just solid in the middle. It's time to make a play somewhere else.
Moore brings it up against Adams. Foster guarded by Calhoun. Tipped around, saved by SMU. 10 to shoot. Brown down the lane. Bryma was there. Somehow he got the ball past him.
You know how he did it? By being fundamentally sound and using his left hand. He used the basket to shield him.
Biggest lead of the ball game, 26-16 after a 10-0 run. Hamilton lost it on the way in, but gets bailed out by the foul call. After the Cal-Arizona game wraps up on ESPN, stick around for Sports Center at night. Stan and Neil will be standing by. All the tournament game highlights, as well as the rest of college hoops, the NBA, and updates from the Thunders and Warriors. Sports Center at night after Cal-Arizona over on ESPN. The last foul on Jeray Foster. And Hamilton, who is number 1. And I hesitated for a second to let the ball go through. Number 1 in the conference in free throw shooting. 2nd in rebounding, 2nd in assists.
Yeah, Daniel Hamilton will fill the stat sheet.
The only thing lacking, he only averages 11.5 points a game, and I think they expected more.
Well, I mean, this is a balanced offense. You know, you got Gibbs, you've got Purvis, you've got Sean Miller. I think they expected his percentages from the field to be better, both from beyond the arc and inside. He's become a volume scorer, and he's a better player than that.
Moore. What a rebound by Ben Moore.
Wow.
Houston is closing strong.
Some pretty good coaches in this conference,
aren't there?
Kelvin Sampson, I think, may be edging out Fran Dunphy for Coach of the Year. Even though Fran Dunphy's team won the regular season, they clinched it. Houston has been a huge surprise.
6 to shoot. Sterling Brown. Ben Moore really extended his range this year, Lynn.
Yeah, I said it over and over again. Every time we do an SMU game, Ben Moore is kind of the glue for this team. Plays the tough guys down low, even some of the perimeter guys. Excellent passer, can knock the ball down from the perimeter and post up. He just does everything for this team.
And so calm, his demeanor never seems to change. 28-18, there's the trap on Adams. Goes out of bounds with 2 on the shot clock.
Yeah,
boy, that was a nice trap.
It was, and it was probably impromptu. When a guy dribbles that much and keeps backing up. Good smarts by the backcourt of SMU.
Desperation 3, missed everything.
Actually, look, it
as you might expect.
Must have gotten a piece of the rim, though, because they didn't call the violation.
Foster alive. Tolbert slams it down. Boy, Tolbert's been the beneficiary of passes right at the edge of the rim.
Well, whoever Amita Brima is guarding, when guys penetrate, they're waiting until he commits, and then it is throwing it up to the rim for his man to flush.
It's a great adjustment by Larry Brown and his coaching staff from that first meeting.
And for SMU, the points in the paint just keep on coming. 20-2.
Don't they ever.
20-2. UConn has 2 points in the paint.
Brown. And how fundamentally sound is this team? Almost every possession, there's a ball fake in it somewhere. Wide open out of the corner, Calhoun. No. 33-18.
You just cannot rely on beating a team with a perimeter game alone. UConn has to, even if the inside guy doesn't touch it, you've got to play inside out. Otherwise, the defense is just standing there waiting for you.
Crowd on its feet chanting. Moore maybe hurried that one a little bit.
Yeah, that's a trap SMU's got to be wary of. Getting a little too cocky.
Hamilton fouled on the way in and fouled by Ben Moore.
Take a look. Brima right in the middle. Comes the penetration, and his man follows him right to the basket. Look at him go to the penetration, and then his man right there. Tolbert. And then just basic fundamental penetration by Foster to Brown. You know, SMU, anything that you want to point out in a clinic, they've been able to illustrate.
Sean Miller, nice post-up move against Ben Moore.
And that's only UConn's 4th point in the paint. As they got to continue that kind of attack.
About a 21-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. Moore guarded by Hamilton. 10 to shoot. He's much quicker. Pulls up. Dives into him. Hooks the bucket and draws the foul. Holy cow.
I tell you what, on the drive, the pull-up, the quickness, the speed, and the guile.
Lenny, he gave him every move he's got on that drive and pull-up.
I tell you what, these folks are very appreciative. It's the last time they will ever see this on this floor.
Yeah.
Nick Moore doing his thing. That's why this is such a bittersweet game for them.
Exactly.
You know, he's done so much for his team over the last couple of years. Last year, they kind of got cheated in the NCAA tournament on a bad call for goaltending. This year, they can't even play. But yet, Nick Moore has never given in. He's always given them the best he's had.
He's got a big heart. Comes a double team with 12 seconds. Marcus Kennedy commits the foul. They had a foul to give. They still have a foul to give. Attention to detail.
Yep.
Jonathan Wilfong checks in. He'll commit the foul that they had to give. And they leave 7.7 seconds on the clock.
And now Larry Brown tells him no foul. So good use of the team foul situation really slowed UConn down.
He's just fun to watch, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, you played for him. You know how good he is. They won't get the final shot, but I
got to keep winning because of what others are doing. You know, it's a fluid situation. You can't leave anything to chance.
Brown, who had 13 first-half points. Kennedy starts the second half the way he did the first. 9 to shoot, and SMU gets the first bucket of the second half.
And Sterling Brown begins as he finished the first half.
Sorry, he had 12 in the first half, not 13.
Driving to the basket, high percentage shot. #1 field goal percentage shooter in the conference.
Miller guarded by Tolbert. Hamilton lost it. Sterling Brown, Hamilton trying to get back. Not the way to start the second half for the Huskies.
Yeah, I'm just really surprised. Far too much ball handling on the perimeter. As I said, you got to find a way to go inside out. Right now, Sean Miller, who's got perimeter capability, that's a little better right there to get cutters and to find a way to get the higher percentage shot. And if you can't feed the post directly, use the cutters. Get the ball in the paint. If they can't get it, then you've got some open looks.
There's great body control by Purvis to make that catch and be able to twist and hit the shot. Kennedy leans in. Purvis loves to run. That's going to be a block.
Call it a block. The official, Doug Sermon's, pointing to the restricted area line.
That's 3 on Milton.
Take a look at the foot on the line. No question. A secondary defender. Contact made automatic.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what position you have, whether it actually was a charge or not. By rule, it cannot be. Foster comes back in for Larry Brown. Milton will have to sit with that third personal foul. Only 7 scholarship players available to Larry Brown.
UConn with some pressure right now.
Close to a backcourt. Purvis gets the steal and the foul. Nice play by Purvis.
Be wary of the team that has a lot to play for, because they're not going to give up. And Brown, a little lackadaisical. You don't pick the ball up and straddle the line, for one. And secondly, aggressive UConn defense took that away from him.
Well, this is what I meant when I said pride.
Yeah,
You've got to have pride to come out and give it your best shot. And certainly they have the talent. Moore was trying backdoor. Kennedy gets the lob down low. Nice feed to Tolbert. Tolbert with a jam.
That's a strong man move.
They have abused UConn inside. Bryma not starting the second half. Enoch is inside. 26-8 advantage for SMU in the paint. Gibbs, 5 to shoot. Purvis is going to draw the foul on Nick Moore.
You just can't do it on the perimeter. Bounce here, bounce there, pass another guy, bounce, bounce. You know, you got to move the ball, as I said, inside out. Stephen Enoch wide open inside. You give it to him, he doesn't necessarily have to shoot it, but you force the defense to adjust.
Thought that last play was a foul. It turned out to be a shot clock violation. No, offensive?
Boy, the rebounding by SMU, you know, just so impressive.
Foster to Moore. Keep trying to front him, keep him from getting the ball in the first place. Purvis reached in, almost had another steal, then a bad pass, and SMU will turn it over. Larry Brown not happy with that. Although that is only the 4th turnover against the Mustangs. .16 is the margin. Miller, boy, he can sky.
Now, what's so hard about that? They finally went inside. What's so hard about that?
You wouldn't think a lot, but they haven't been able to do it.
With all due respect, it's not that they haven't been able to, they just haven't done it.
Foster got it in the foul.
SMU just playing with a lot of confidence. And Jere Foster, the 6'5" freshman, just puts it on the floor, sees a lane, and goes right at it. No hesitation.
The third on Purvis, so he'll sit. And Foster out of Houston will go to the line. He's 1 out of 2 tonight, only a 48.9% free throw shooter on the year.
That was pure.
Yes, it was. Huge arc on it, and it's 45-29. Miller trying to isolate him on Ben Moore. Forced it up. Moore got a piece of it. Tipped out of bounds. 47-28 to lead back to 19.
And it again reflects the frustration of the Huskies, but particularly the guys inside, like a Sean Miller, who hadn't got an awful lot of touches.
Well, he's a graduate student. This is 5th year. He ought to know better than that.
Yeah.
Brown tried to get it low to Ben Moore, a little lazy.
Good defense, though, by Miller. Good footwork.
UConn on a run, and Sterling Gibbs knocks down the 3. All at once, it's 47-31. Now within 16. You can't get it back all at once. You just got to chip away.
See, they're using Bryma once again with Tolbert moving, trying to get Bryma on the move to keep him out of the paint.
Foster was wide open, missed the shot. Hamilton on the run, and that's a blocking foul. Foster tried to get there, instead picked up his 2nd personal.
Well, each time UConn can get a clean defensive rebound, it's off to the races. They're an outstanding fast break team. But the question is, can they get clean defensive rebounds? As SMU has done a nice job, 8 offensive rebounds and many tips to make it more difficult for UConn to run.
And that was a lazy pass by Jalen Adams, had it knocked away. UConn retains possession. Brima comes out to help. Gibbs, nice crossover, got by Foster. The shot wouldn't fall for him, but he draws the foul. And that's 3 on Foster. Saturday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN, North Carolina and Duke at Cameron Indoor, the rematch of college basketball's greatest rivalry. Saturday primetime presented by DirecTV, streaming live on Watch ESPN and the ESPN app. Gibbs, the #1 free throw shooter in the conference. How is that possible?
I'll tell you what, though, I do like in the last couple of possessions, for the most part, UConn not wasting motion going east-west, but challenging the SMU defense. And if you're a Husky fan, you want to see more of that.
There's pressure. Trying for a trap in backcourt. They beat it easily. And then the pick by Jalen Adams. This is what UConn needs. A couple of quick buckets like this. Adams somehow kept that alive, reached in and tipped it to Miller.
Well, and Jere Foster, instead of gathering it in for possession, tried to dribble his way out, and that's a mistake. If you're SMU, you don't want to give any daylight to UConn, give them any momentum whatsoever. They can be very explosive.
That's a jump ball situation. Will stay with UConn on the possession clock. Or the possession hour, excuse me.
And the other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to build up the team fouls and ultimately put UConn on the free throw line, because they are an outstanding free throw shooting team.
UConn without a single second chance point tonight. It's almost unbelievable with Brima in there. Two to shoot, off balance. Desperation shot won't go for Adams. Nick Moore bursts through, had it knocked out of his hands, out to the Mustangs. UConn has not done well when they've had like 5 seconds to shoot. All night long, they haven't gotten good looks.
Well, they haven't had anybody really focus on breaking down the defense.
Adams the foul, 1 on him. He'll sit, and Purvis is back in.
You know, with the shot clock under 10, UConn hasn't given it the ball to anyone who has essentially attacked with a purpose. They've kind of dribbled east-west instead of going north-south.
Moore in and out. Tolbert tried to keep it alive, knocked out of bounds.
And that's what I'm talking about. More times than not, SMU, if they haven't actually grabbed possession on the offensive glass, they've tipped it. They haven't given UConn that clean defensive rebound too often where they can turn it into a fast break.
Moore is fouled by Gibbs. That's 3 on Gibbs.
And that's the 15th foul on UConn. That's the last thing you want to do with a double-digit deficit, to put your opponent in the bonus.
Oh, nice pass to Ben Moore from Nick Moore. Back to a 17-point spread at 49-32.
But look at Brima really fighting for position on Tolbert, and he had him locked. Passers just didn't get it to him. Well, you're going to take a look right here. Look at Brima. He doesn't know where he's going. He wants to go here, but his man gets the ball there. He's kind of caught twixt in between, and that's happened all evening, where Amita Brima has just been confused because of the movement of the SMU bigs.
Brima this time comes out to set a screen. Gives the lob to Brima, too high. Milton. The lob to Brown is perfect. How do you miss Breimer?
Well, for UConn, there's so many things that have gone wrong for them.
51-32. SMU wants this game desperately. Their final home game for these seniors. Gibbs with 3 to shoot had to force it up. An offensive rebound to Breimer, and he missed the follow. He has been a non-factor. Kennedy fouled by Breimer. Big Ten 4 conferences actually with 7 projected berths.
Yeah, when you look at the Pac-12, I mean, obviously, folks east of the Mississippi don't realize we got some quality teams there.
Shake Milton having trouble with the handle. And lost it out of bounds.
Yeah, it's still what happens when you handle it too much and you don't seem to have a purpose. You're not knowing where you're going.
Time starting to become a factor under 11 and a half minutes to go in this game. Hamilton, tough turnaround jump from the lane. Breimer goes down.
That was a smart play by Breimer. Falling off balance, getting pushed.
Kennedy turned his head like, really? You went down after that, really?
Whatever it takes at this juncture.
The look on his face was priceless. Breimer did a good job of drawing it. He's a good free throw shooter, too.
Yes, he is. 82% coming into this game. He missed 11 games, so, you know, some of his numbers, he's not ranked in the shot blocking category because he hasn't played enough games. But over the last 4 games coming into this one, he had 12 blocks, 11 offensive rebounds. But SMU has certainly held him in check. And the reason they've been able to do it is because they kept him occupied, kept him on the move. He's never able to root in the paint like he'd like, as he would like.
Sterling Brown got it to Kennedy. Milton. 3. Calhoun took a run at him, but he buried it anyway. And now it's 21 points.
What a heady play by Marcus Kennedy, though.
Calhoun out of the corner, got it. They need more answers like that. This is the last chance this crowd is going to have to see this ball club.
Yeah. And the shame of it is, I really believe this team could be at least an Elite 8 team if they're operating on all cylinders, playing the way they're playing right now.
Glenn, I agree with you, and it is a shame. If the NCAA is going to say it's all about the players, they have to stop penalizing players and penalize teams.
Yeah, I would agree. They've got to find another way, particularly the innocent players, players who weren't involved
exactly
in the infraction.
Going to be a foul on Nick Moore. But what I mean by penalizing the teams is penalizing the school. I really like what Rick Pitino came up with, the idea of huge fines against the school. And you don't think a $10 million fine would get their attention in a heartbeat? Money drives everything else. Gibbs at the line. This is a 1-and-1.
And if you were going to do it, provide monetary sanctions, you certainly want it to be proportional, because, you know, if you fine somebody $1 million, the smaller schools, it hurt them obviously more than the bigger schools, so you have to do it proportionally.
Well, then the smaller schools should be more careful.
And actually, I should say the smaller budgets, because there's some power conference schools that don't have the same budget.
All right, then they should be more careful.
Be that as may, I get what you're saying. I think that would have even more of a deterrent impact.
The shame of it is guys like Nick Moore and Marcus Kennedy didn't do a thing.
Right.
So why should they be penalized?
That's the same thing with the guys at Louisville. Lee
Sure.
and Lewis. Grad students, they came in, they were nowhere, and none of those players really, I don't believe, were connected during the times of those infractions.
Nick Moore, 5th in the conference in free throw shooting, 1st in assists, 2nd in scoring. Boy, he's just so clutch. Always seems to have big second halves.
I mean, the numbers you're talking about, tell the story, but not the totality of it. He has been such an influence, not just by the numbers.
Oh, exactly.
He is a competitor. I sit and I talk with Larry Brown, and that's what he talks about constantly. That sometimes it's hard to get Nick to come off the floor.
Perfect pass to Ben Moore.
And that's what I'm talking about. Not only do you get 2 points, but, man, you build the confidence of your big guys. You get them involved in the game when you can reward them for running the floor like that.
And you get 7,000 fans involved in the game. If you counted big baskets, if this was one of your metrics in the Elmore Index, he'd have won it by the 10th game of the year.
And I can tell you what, he got more than enough, though. More than enough.
Yes, he did. Milton. It's a lob fest.
For some good ones. The best coach I ever played for in the NBA because of his approach to the game. Fundamentals. Had you practice the things that you were going to do in the game. Always maintain a positive outlook for guys. But it was that practice schedule and the approach to the game that really kept guys fresh and kept them consistent. And you can see it in every team he's coached on the pro level and the college level. His teams have always been fundamentally sound, share the ball, and he's had a star, too. That helps.
Second half, Nick.
And he's always let the star do his thing.
Yeah. I think there are an awful lot of people who played for Larry Brown who would tell you in a heartbeat he's the best coach they ever played for.
Yep.
Always enjoyed being around him.
And he's hopeful, he'll stick around a couple of more years, have to turn the reins over to Tim Jankovic right there in the foreground. But his impact on this program, reviving it, if you will never be forgotten.
Biggest deficit UConn has faced all year long. Gibbs cutting into it by a free throw, get another.
I'm sure that picture of him in the 81-82 season, he doesn't want to look at that anymore. Just like I wouldn't recognize myself either.
It'd be nice to see it in the mirror, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. And feel the same way, too. Not feel these aches and pains.
That's not going to happen. SMU can burn a lot of time off the clock with every possession unless they throw it away. Houston leading Cincinnati by 10. That would be a big boost to their chances.
Absolutely. That fire has yet to be doused.
Purvis, nice fake to get into the lane. That's an offensive foul as Foster stepped in. And Purvis picked up his 4th personal.
And I get it. I understand the need to be aggressive and go to the basket and challenge the defense. I think, though, going forward, teams have to get their players to understand how to get into the paint and then stop and elevate. instead of carrying themselves through and drawing the foul.
How did Foster end up with the basketball 3 different times? Every bad bounce went right to him.
It's called desire. And look at those points in the paint. Plus 28 for SMU.
And that's off Hamilton's fingertips out of bounds to the Mustangs.
That's just an amazing stat. And it's UConn that's got the 7-footer, the 6'10" front line guys.
Yeah.
They should be doing far more. They've had guys try to get into the paint off the bounce, and SMU has drawn charges. But they just haven't been able to consistently get the higher percentage shots.
We just went under 7 minutes. Milton is back in. They moved the ball so well. Ben Moore, who's extended that mid-range game to 15, 17 feet, and he's just been deadly.
You mentioned moving the ball. SMU averaging almost 18 assists per game, in the top 10 in the nation in assists. And again, another characteristic of Larry Brown coach teams. If you don't move the ball and you don't try to hit the open man, make the extra pass, you don't play.
Hamilton with a runner. Larry Brown up directing traffic in front of the SMU bench.
And even on that Sixer team with Allen Iverson moved the ball when he needed to. But he was going to play anyway.
Yeah. Milton. When you're up by this much, those threes become a lot easier. They can use all the threes they can get right now. Sam Cassell Jr. into the ball game, knocks that one down. It's only his 10th all year. He's missed so much time because of leg issues. Moore trying for a spectacular scoop. Got the contact, will draw the foul.
Well, this is a game that UConn obviously recognizes a steep uphill battle, considering the emotion and the meaning of this game for SMU. That loss at home to Houston, you know, this should have kind of neutralized that loss. But
yes,
obviously they're not going to get that. And their next game at home, the final game, is against UCF, Central Florida. That is a must-win to maintain status to stay in the tournament hunt.
Sure. The lead has grown to 25, and SMU is on its way to its 25th victory of the season. Hamilton forced it up and missed it. Moore on the run off the backboard.
And that's what Nick Moore is focusing on now. Trying to pile up the assists, get other guys involved. You know, it's all about putting on a show. He saw his runners with him, and Kennedy just got pushed right out of the way.
And Purvis has committed his 5th. He's gone at the 5:06 mark.
And I think Larry Brown is telling Nick Moore, you know, let's stay within the game. Let's not show anybody up. You know, you're a classy guy. You know, let's finish it up in a classy manner.
Last year, you may not have seen that handshake between those two.
You might have seen tucked in a hand because the ear's not listening.
Larry Brown, not somebody who wants to show anybody else up. He wants to beat you as badly as any coach in the country. He just doesn't want to make you look bad while he does it.
Like I said, it's also winning with class.
Yep, no doubt. Speaking of class, both of these programs, North Carolina and Duke, will have their rematch at Cameron Indoor Saturday at 6:30 Eastern on ESPN. Two of the great programs in the history of college basketball. And for my money, the best rivalry in all of sports, no matter whether it's basketball, football, table tennis, or whatever.
And even with
some of those table tennis rivalries are awesome.
Yeah. And with that rivalry, though, still something Carolina looking to try to, clinch that regular season title outright, and also the fact that they're right now in Joe Lunardi's list, the #1 seed. And you want to maintain that and win at Cameron.
Absolutely,
certainly solidify that.
And Nick Moore, nice pass, but couldn't be handled down low. Tolbert comes out with it. Nick Moore.
And the finish on the rivalry, Duke just wants to take anything they can away from Carolina.
Yeah, for sure. Moore, a gargantuan three that he missed. Just sort of shrugs his shoulders like I made it in practice.
And Larry's got his hand on his forehead saying, what was that? Didn't we just discuss that?
I don't think we have a play where you take a 35-footer.
And what I'm thinking is Nick feels that he's going to be called out in a minute, substituted for us, and might as well get his yayas in.
His what?
Yayas.
Well, he's got him, I'm sure.
Trying to kick out the jams, brothers and sisters.
Milton can't hit it. Gibbs, nice shot. Now, last week you told me you spoke French. Now you're off in another direction.
That was early 1970s hippiedom, classic rock and roll. MC5.
Kennedy, who has 7 assists tonight, a career high. Misses a runner. Calhoun wasn't paying attention, had it stripped from behind.
All right, let's see what he comes up with now.
How about that? How about that? Sterling Brown. A 29-point lead.
And I think the curtain call is about to come.
David Nelson, the other senior, number 20, is up.
Passing the ball and unselfish enough to find the man with the best opportunity.
Gibbs at the line. The only question now is the final margin. The worst loss UConn took before tonight all year, 10 points.
Yeah, I mean, as we mentioned before, I'm sure they knew how steep this climb was going to be in this game because of the emotion surrounding it. Notwithstanding SMU looking for some revenge as UConn beat them up in Hartford a couple weeks ago. There it is.
The seniors, Moore, Tolbert, Kennedy, done such a great job for this ball club. The last hurrah at home.
And you just feel it for Nick Moore, man. And he had that last lingering look on the floor.
That gets number 20, David Nelson, into the ball game, the other senior on this club. some performance for SMU. Wilfong looking inside. They'd love to get Nelson and Wilfong a couple of shots. That would have been spectacular. Offensive rebound. And Nelson had a chance for a shot, instead passed it up. They want Nelson to shoot it.
Nelson not even looking at the basket. Wilfong had a good look there.
Cassell is back in. Gibbs knocks down a three. 78-54. This will take SMU to 25-4 with one regular season game remaining.
And at 13-4, they are tied with Temple. And that was their goal after they lost the opportunity for an undefeated season at the hands of Temple. Their next goal was to win the conference regular season championship.
Wilfong has to shoot, comes up with an air ball as the shot clock is running down. There's Nelson out of Ohio. Cassell a mile outside. And the senior gets a rebound. So Nelson gets in the book. And Larry Brown off the bench, he gives him a slap on the way by. Now they're trying to set Nelson up for the shot. Drives the baseline. How about that?
And that's what that slap on the butt was about.
Yeah.
Take your shot.
Yes, sir. And the crowd on its feet. That's special.
Well, if you're going out, that's the way you want to
Yes,
go out in front of the home folks.
Yes, sir. Everybody standing, a lot of them with tears in their eyes. Len, this was really, really special to see this game tonight for SMU.
Yeah, it certainly was. I'm happy that we were a part of it. Again, bittersweet. You got to see an outstanding team, outstanding player in Nick Moore. And really, they played probably almost a perfect game for periods of time. UConn, on the other hand, they've got work to do now to maintain themselves in this conversation for the NCAA tournament and to play for the best possible seed in the American.
One thing that UConn's going to have to do is turn around very quickly, get rid of this game in their mind, and get ready to go to the tournament, don't you think?
Absolutely. And that's going to be Kevin Ollie's job.
Coming up next, College Basketball Live with a look at all the great tournament action from today. Now back to the studio.